My wife has changed a lot since we lost our baby. My wife, 29F, and I, 26M, had a baby due in April. She was going to be our first. Unfortunately, in January, my wife had a medical emergency, and we ended up losing our daughter. My wife has changed almost 100% into a different person since then. It has affected almost everything she does as a person, and it's like she's not even the woman I fell in love with anymore. A little bit of backstory on us. My wife and I have known each other for 5 years, have been a couple for 3 years, and have been married for almost a year now. I have had a really hard last couple of years, between my mother's passing and the premature end of my career as a professional athlete, and this amazing woman has been my rock. I feel like I have loved her from the minute I met her, and I've tried to be good to her and to let my feelings for her show through in the way I treat her. We were both so excited when we learned she was pregnant, and we were looking forward to adding a little girl to our family. Obviously, losing her has been incredibly hard on both of us, but it has been especially hard on my dear wife. She has always struggled with an anxiety disorder, and she has always been a little clingy, physically and emotionally. But lately, her level of attachment has shot up past 11. I have to practically fight her to be able to leave for work in the mornings, and then when I'm gone, she sends me at least 20 texts. Mostly, it's just about how much she misses me, but sometimes she will just send pictures of herself. And when I call her, I never get to talk. She just goes and vents and is incredibly negative about everything, which is basically the opposite of what she used to be. I can't get any personal space at night in bed either. She's always been adamant about cuddling through the entire night, but she's been holding me so tight lately that it gets hard to breathe, even after I'm sure she has to be asleep. It's like sleeping in a clinch hold with a Muay Thai fighter every night. And she can't seem to go an hour or two without needing to be kissed. And our sex life has changed a lot too. We used to be fairly active, about 2 or 3 times a week, but now it's almost up to twice or more a day, every day, even when I don't want it. On the times when I'm not really feeling up to it, I protest a little at first, but she doesn't listen, and she just seems like she wants it so badly that I don't want to hurt her feelings and turn her down. And when we're having sex, it's like we only do stuff that she's into, and I don't get any say in what we do. It's just all about what satisfies her. It almost feels like sex is turning into a thing I have to do for her to keep her happy instead of a thing we do together because we love each other. And she'll get upset over the littlest things, so almost everything is a fight. I didn't push in my chair all the way after getting up from the table yesterday, and I got screamed at. I have been seeing the same therapist since I was 16, and she's like a second mother to me, and my wife has asked me not to see her anymore because she doesn't trust her. She also wants me to stop taking my college courses so I can finish my degree, and when I go to hang out with my friends, whom she thinks are all idiots and reminds me every time we talk about them lately, it's like I'm leaving to go and never come back. I understand that her mental health is not great at this point in time, and I want to be there for her and support her in any way I can. I want to get through this together with the love of my life and come out on the other side and watch the sun rise after a very dark night. She means everything to me, but too often it feels like the person she is right now is not the woman I married. Edit. Yes, I understand she needs therapy. Background information on her. She spent a fair amount of time as a teenager in a psychiatric facility, and therapy and therapists are some of her least favorite things. She went to 2 sessions after we first lost our daughter, but she refuses to go back. When I bring it up, she gets super angry, hits me, she's not that strong, I'll be okay, and then starts crying and needs to be held. Edit 2, we were talking today, and she agreed to start going to couples therapy and to see her again this week. She asked me if I was happy and if I still loved her. I guess she overheard me talking with my therapist on the phone about our sex life last week, and she overheard some harsh truths. She wants to be well again, and she's willing to try whatever it takes to get there. Update 1, I made a post here last night, and it has gotten several hundred comments urging me to do what I have been trying to get the courage to do for a long time. Directly confront my wife about her behavior since losing our baby. I finally did it. She agreed to at least go to couples counseling and to schedule an appointment with her again. She agreed that the way she is processing the grief of losing our daughter is really harmful and self-destructive. She even recognized that the person she has been becoming is not someone she wants to be, and she wants to seek extra help. She's not huge on doctors, therapists, psychologists, or nurses due to spending time in a psychiatric facility as a teenager, but she's willing to bite the bullet there if it means getting the help she agrees she needs. I'm so in love with her, and I'm so happy she has decided to get help. I'm going to be with her every step of every mile of this journey with her. Update 2, I feel obligated to write this and continue updating people here because of the many kind responses and genuine attempts at offering advice and support. My wife, 29F, and I, 26M, were supposed to be attending couples therapy together yesterday evening. We were lucky enough to have been able to get an appointment so soon. I was anticipating not being able to get in with a couples therapist for at least another 2 weeks, but we lucked out and were able to get one this week. My wife and I were supposed to meet each other there after I got off work and out of class and then go get dinner afterward. The appointment was at 6:30. I got out of class at 6 o'clock, hustled across town to get there, and still showed up 3 minutes late, expecting her to already be there because she loves being places early. I didn't notice her car in the parking lot. I figured it was whatever. This was a business park with a lot of parking spaces. She was definitely there. She promised me this morning she would be there. I went into the lobby, talked to reception, and asked about seeing the doctor. The doctor was in, but my wife definitely was not. Okay, no big deal. She was probably just late because traffic is awful in this horrible nightmare city. So I called her, and it rang all the way through, which was kind of weird. I waited another 10 minutes, no call back, and I tried again. Still nothing. I waited another 5 minutes, and now it didn't even ring, like she had turned her phone off. So obviously, the appointment ended up not happening, and I was worried about the safety and well-being of my wife because it's not like her not to return my calls or to be late to stuff or skip appointments without notification. Her anxiety errs more on the I have to be super punctual type of anxiety. So I headed home, and lo and behold, my wife's car was in the parking lot of our complex. I headed into the apartment, and she was in our bed just watching porn on the TV and masturbating. Apparently, that's what she had been up to all day while I had been at work and school trying to provide for us. And she was so nonchalant about it too, like it was the most natural thing in the world for her to be doing at that time. Obviously, I was a little shocked. I'm not a porn guy. I think it's actually super unhealthy and overall does more psychological harm to individuals than any good that empty instant sexual gratification can do. I don't think watching porn while in a relationship is cheating, but I don't love it. She and I will be having that conversation later, and her watching porn isn't what I'm really upset about right now anyway. It's the fact that, of all the reasons to blow off our appointment with a couples therapist to help her cope with all the stuff that's been going on lately with the loss of our daughter and everything related to that, hers was because she was too busy watching some other chick get railed in a gangbang. I get that she's not in a good place, and she hasn't been well mentally or emotionally for months now. I get that it's affected her decision making. I get that going and seeing therapists and doctors and doing that whole thing is scary for her and not something she has much desire to put herself through, even though she understands that it's probably exactly where she needs to be. I get that she's bored at home after having taken a sabbatical from her job. I get that her hormones have been entirely out of whack since January and that sex just helps her not feel so terrible all the time. I get that she was basically alone when we lost our daughter and that the way she lost our baby is a million times worse than the way I lost our baby. I understand all of that, but I still have to go to work so we can eat and pay our bills and rent, and come home and get yelled at for putting the dishes in the dishwasher the wrong way or whatever, and then not get any sleep at night because we're up until 2 in the morning because she got horny and will cry for hours if I don't do it. If that's the way life is until we can beat this thing together, then that's the way it is and I can tough it out for her sake. But the absolute least she can do is show up when she agreed to show up so that we can beat her depression, so that she can get better and be well again. So I stayed at a friend's place last night, and I think I am crashing on his couch again tonight. My wife has called 6 times and texted 90 times, and it went from asking if I'm ever coming back, to begging me to come back, to rants that I haven't read about how sorry I'm going to be, and then back to begging me to come home. I made the mistake of answering one of the calls, and when I tried to explain that I'll come home when I'm ready to come home, and that I still love her and still want to be with her, and that I'm just really hurt and upset and need space, she screamed at me like I have never, ever in my entire life been screamed at before about how I'm probably cheating on her right now, and how I've abandoned her, and how dare you. How dare you is repeated a lot. I don't really know what my criteria for feeling ready to go back is either. I think at first it was when I felt like she was genuinely ready to talk and not just yell or have a meltdown. But then I remembered that she and I have already talked about this, and that didn't do anything. I think I'll call her when I get off work and give her the ultimatum of actually going to therapy, or a facility, or just anything that's a step in the right direction, or our relationship might have to be put on hold until she gets everything figured out. Edit, I am already in therapy. I have been meeting with my excellent friend and doctor for over 10 years now. I was one of her first patients when she was fresh out of school, and she was one of the only people who consistently gave a crap about me when I was a kid in the foster system. Update 3. This is kind of an update to my previous posts. I've been thinking a lot about why I posted on here in the first place, but I think it basically boils down to this being more or less a journal for myself. And if people have some good advice or are able to sympathize even a little bit, then I'll take what I can get. I don't have a lot of real life friends, and the ones I do have I'm not close enough with to really vent to about super personal stuff. I have my therapist, my last pair of foster parents, and some old friends I made at the boys' home I used to live at, and that's about it. This being basically anonymous means I don't have to worry too hard about being judged by coworkers or other people in my congregation, I guess. I keep posting because it seems like a bunch of people might have gotten maybe a little invested in the well-being of my wife and myself, and I think it would be a little scary and sad not to know if the people whose story you have graciously listened to are okay or not. It feels really exhibitionistic and weird, and a bunch of people have followed this burner Reddit account, and it feels like this is just juicy real-life watch someone else suffer entertainment for some people. This post isn't for them. It's for the nice people who I think might be worried about me and my wife. Thanks to everyone who has tried to be nice and supportive, but I think this is the final post about this. My wife, 29F, has had an extremely rough time since we lost our baby to a miscarriage in January and has practically refused treatment or therapy of any kind. She has been incredibly difficult to be around, and I have been super worried about her for months now. I recently had to take a couple of days break away from her after she no-showed an appointment we had agreed to attend together with someone I thought would be able to help her. My in-laws were able to step in and help get my wife into a psychiatric care facility. I had been talking with them about the whole situation after I made the decision to get some space after the missed appointment. They dropped everything and traveled like 3 hours to us and went by to check on her. My mother-in-law and I have kind of teamed up, which is a miracle because she really does not like that her only daughter married me of all people. My in-laws and I went by the apartment, and they went in first to talk to her, and then they brought me in. We more or less had an intervention, and my in-laws were able to talk her into going to get treatment. I stayed home with her that night and took the next day off work to drive her there myself. She was really freaking out, but I think she knew that voluntarily taking a mental health break somewhere she could actually get help was the right decision. I'm really proud of her. My wife has already been officially diagnosed with bipolar disorder and postpartum depression, on top of her already existing anxiety disorder. I had kind of started suspecting she had bipolar disorder. I thought getting a diagnosis would be a lot harder and there would be more hoops to jump through. Just getting the diagnosis is a relief because now she can actually get medication and targeted help directly for what she's facing. She still has another day left there, and as her spouse I'm actually not allowed to visit, which I really hate. I way underestimated how much I would miss her. I think I get how a dog waiting for his owner to get home from work feels. My in-laws, however, are able to visit, and their reports have been about as positive as it can get. My wife misses me too, and she's been fairly lucid and calm since going in, and so far it's been more positive than not. And obviously this is probably going to be something she'll need support with for the rest of our lives. I'm pretty sure it doesn't just go away. But it really does feel like a genuine, true, legitimate first step in the right direction, and with the right help we can actually beat this thing. One of the craziest things that has happened throughout this entire process over the last few days has been the way my mother-in-law has started treating me. She actually hugged me and told me she was sorry about me losing our daughter, which is the first hug she's ever given me, and I never in my life expected her to ever have any sympathy for me. My father-in-law has always been much kinder, but it didn't seem like this was something he had asked her to do. This was just her being nice to me, which I never expected. As for me, I attended a grieving father's support group, and it was like a super pessimistic sadness circle jerk. It just made my evening sadder, and I don't think I'll go back, at least not to that same one anyway. I'm going to take a week off work after this semester of school is over, and we're going to go visit where I'm from back in Texas, and we'll stay with my parents. Getting out of this long winter will be good for both of us, I think, and I haven't seen them since my wedding back in May. I'm a little cautious to get excited, though. The last time I thought we were making progress ended up with me getting my expectations way too high and then being very disappointed. But it does feel like the sun is rising a little bit, if that makes any sense. Edit, she's home. This is the start of the rest of forever. Final update, my wife, 29F, has been really into filming herself and me, 26M, while we have sex lately. It seems like it's almost every time now. She has said that she keeps the videos for herself, and that it's been a way to keep herself satisfied when the hypersexuality hits because of her bipolar disorder. She thinks that one of our videos is really hot, and that if we posted it to a porn website, it would do really well. She said the idea of a bunch of strangers masturbating to us really turns her on, and she has been nagging me about it at least once a day for the last couple of days. I really don't like the idea of A. Other people watching my wife and me have sex. B. Other people seeing my wife naked in this kind of context. If anything, the idea of other people masturbating to us really pisses me off. And when I went with her to hang out with her friends yesterday, one of them, who has a big OnlyFans following and a part-time job instead of a full-time job, put me on the spot about it and said, and later claimed this was just a joke, that she would introduce my wife to a guy who would be willing to make a video with her to post online. I lost my temper with her, and it turned into a shouting match, and then my wife and I left. I get that I shouldn't have yelled, but I was so mad. In the car, I caught a lot of hell for freaking out on her friends over a joke. I really did not read her comment about introducing my wife to a guy who would have sex with her on camera as a joke at all. I get that my wife has a right to vent to her friends, and I'm glad that she has people she can talk to besides me. I just think that her friend was wrong to put me on the spot about it, and that her joke was way out of line. And I don't want to be the husband who tells his wife she can't see her friends anymore, but I don't feel entirely comfortable with her seeing and hanging around with these people.